there. Toward the snake, it would have done me in. Oof. Oh, I got a new cover for the book. Well, not a new cover. I wrote on the book for a cover. It says, DeBrother be writing for the poems, songs, and fine arts et al. That's the cover. You know, DeBrother be writing for the poems, what's that? Songs, fine arts et al. So it's official. I got it. Whatever. See, if you can read backwards, then you would know what I'm doing. Okay, look. It's a Wednesday. This is a World Day. Wonderful. Just to be as clear as possible, I'm more, at this particular point, what's happening in the States, it's happening in the States. People are reacting to this, reacting to that. They're doing whatever they're doing, and the cat, the Donald, has got people in a kerfuffle. And so, y'all do what you need to do. You'll sort it out, I'm sure it is. But while doing that, remember there's a lot of stuff happening. And as an American African, that is that I have a passport. See that back there? I have an American passport. So, I'm American. Black American. Melanated, a degree of melanation American, right? I have an African mentality. I live in Africa. Right now I'm in India, but I live in Africa. I've been there for 22 years, whatever it is. I'm married to an African. You can't get more Pan-African. I've been in the struggle since 1964. Don't worry about my bona fides. So here's the thing. People react to this, that, but there's a lot happening. Look. On the Yoruba pantheon, I'm a child of Ogun. Ogun is known as the warrior, the guy with the grass skirt and the machete, cutting the thing. And he's all, but because of the iron, because he's associated with iron, he's also medicine. And little known thing, he's also architecture, right? And that's different than Shango, who's like the general. Architecture, meaning in every sense of the word, he plans things out, foundation things. So here's the thing. I think I'm also an acolyte of Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. And one of the things he says, well, a lot of people say, we're at war. And well, if you're at war, then you should have a strategy, Well, here's the thing. Let me say, how should I say this? At 15 years old, at 16 years old, I made my fraternity. And that's the proper age for initiation and stuff like that, right? Now it's called Pensacola Military Fraternity, so we orientated towards militarism, military formations, got trained in everything, blah, 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 blah. So what happened though is, Kiriko, you get in there at 9 years old, sometimes 8, and then when you got to be basically 19, it was all over. I mean, everything was done. And so between, say, 19 or 20 on, until we started, the graduate chapter, but still the graduate student, in other words, there was no structured program at that age. It's the same thing now. If you go to a lot of places in the world, like we have the same thing in DeBrother. I task in DeBrother. The kids go up, they have everything until you go up to high school, and then when you graduate high school, then you got, there's no programs. It's what people are jobless, whatever. This is all over the world, and people know this, right? So what used to happen, what used to happen is when you got to that age, then if you could go out and get a job. Well, if in my era, you by the time you got out of junior high school, then you had some sort of skill because you had shop class. I was at junior high school 149, Elijah D. Clark in the South Bronx. Anyway, no longer exists. They named it something else. I don't know. But the building is still there, same building, but it's something else. But like by the time I got out of junior high school, I had printing shop, with the typesetting stuff. I had electrical shop. I had my homeroom in 8th grade was typing. everything. You know, you had everything. So when you got out of junior high school, not even going to high school, you was fully equipped to go through. Of course, those things change now because they cut programs. You're not interested in educating people, blah blah. They just want you to follow instructions or whatever it is. So consequently, you may have a trade to go into. You see, like for instance, I was supposed to go to Gompers High School, which is the mechanic for automobile or whatever have it. But because of college discovery, a whole bunch of things. Then I went to Theodore Roosevelt High School up there, Gompers, I think. What's the name? Stanley Cooper went to Gompers. Don't mind that. Anyway, so up there on Fordham Road, I went there and an academic kind of thing, you know. So I basically, that's what happened. Because college discovery is like the precursor to the thing called Seek. We were like the experimental group. It worked for them, and then they sort of they do their little thing to make it irrelevant eventually. Anyway, what I'm trying to say, what I'm going to say. So a lot of times people would have to go into the military. You see, especially if like he was like caught up in a criminal whatever thing. The judge would say, well, you have a choice. Either you go to jail or you go into the military. So a lot of people went into the military, and this was time. This is actually it was time of Vietnam, early Vietnam. You know. Okay, so. But what really has happened, you have to take the energy that you have as a, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old. There's a lot of energy. And that's the optimal time. It's called, in the Rosicrucian time cycle, there's 0 to 9 is your physical growth. 9 to 18 is your mental growth. 18 to 27 is your sexual growth. And 27 to 36 is your spiritual growth, and then the cycle starts all over again. Now, the important thing is that sexual growth thing, don't worry about it, but it means that's the highest energy. That's why the corporations want to grab you then, because you just come out of your mental state. You don't really know whatever. You're not 25 yet, so your brain didn't close up. So you're susceptible. The military loves to grab you, because you recruit a 35-year-old. Come on, what you going? It ain't gonna work, right? So all that plays into what I'm trying to explain right now. Hey, K. Smith, 43452. Salute. So that's what the situation was. Now, I went to the military for other kinds of, at the time, you was being drafted. In other words, the army would grab you. You'd be on the street like one day, and 6 weeks later, you'd be in the jungles of Vietnam fighting some 13-year-old. So that was a choice. That's the Army. The Navy, you were on a ship. Usually, for some reason, they had a lot of people in the South. So you might be only a few black people on a ship with all these Southern racists in this, late 60s. Not a good thing. They just, they eat like that. And then that's the Navy. The Marines, their motto, go kill them, whatever that's their mission, right? The Air Force, it was like, keep them flying, keep them flying, right? What this means for somebody like me, who was thinking, right, gonna say, hey, I can take the test for the Air Force, because you only take the test for the Navy and the Air Force. I can take the test. I'm not. Don't worry about what you call the Coast Guard. I'm not talking about that. I can pass this test. If I'm in the Air Force, I keep them flying, which means that I'm not going into combat. See? Now, unbeknownst to me, we're talking 1970. Unbeknownst to me, there's a whole bunch of other people who was thinking the same thing. Instead of running off to another country or I don't know, being conscientious, whatever you was. But if you're in the Air Force, then you do your 4 years, you get out. And that's my whole thing. I'm doing 4 years. I'm getting out. Anyway, I bring that up just to say. Remember, I grew up in a military, what we call a paramilitary organization. So I knew a lot of that. So in the military, now in the military, there's a World War I statement thing. Because World War I, that's what they had the foxholes, the ditches and whatever, and the mustard gas and boom. Somebody come with a rifle, bayonet, they're really fighting face to face. So there ain't no drones and stuff like that. I mean, they just started bombing, So it's like you really fighting, right? In fact, there's one famous thing around Christmas time. It was Christmas time. The trenches are pretty close. Well, the trenches, you could hear people. Well, in Christmas time, the two sides, I guess it was the British or the Americans and the Germans or whatever, they started singing Christmas songs. And then they basically stopped fighting. I think they even got out the trenches and, blah, 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 blah. And then the next day, right back to fighting. I kid you not. It's documented. Go look it up. Do your own research. Okay, sorry. I mean to snap at you like that. But there's a saying. Who would you want to be in a foxhole with? And what that basically means, the cat in the fight hole, there's the person that got your back. It doesn't matter what your political thing is, what your race is. When the bullets are flying and the gas is whatever, you got to step. So let me bring this up to this day. With all this stuff happening, where you're Republican, you're a Democrat, you're independent, you're neo this, you're whatever that, But anybody, you're a miscreant. I don't know. You have this tendency, that tendency, whatever it is. You have to say, because we're in a state of war, you have to say, if I'm going into the fray, who would I want to be in a foxhole with? Good question. Really good question. So do you want to be for instance, do you want to be in a foxhole with, you want to be in a foxhole with Kamala Harris? Do you want to be in a foxhole with Donald Trump? Do you want to be in a foxhole with Steve Bannon? You want to be with Hillary Clinton? With Big Bill Clinton? Who do you want to be? Who would be in a foxhole with you? Now, once you think it that way, then you have to really start thinking. Just pointing this out. So right now, I'm not interested in American politics. I sort of talk about it on Tuesday, but on Wednesday I talk about world situation. I am interested in Africa. Well, I tell you, I live in Africa. I'm interested in Africa. There are some amazing things happening in Africa. But lately, the DRC, the poor Congo, they can't get a break. First is the rubber, then it's this, and then it's that. Then they find this. Then they find the gold or whatever they find. Then they find the uranium. Then they find the uranium. You do know the uranium used in the bombs for Nagasaki came from the DRC because the French. Then you got the lithium. The Congo cannot get a break. Trees, whatever. And everybody's trying to. What they do now? The coltan. I knew about that in the 90s. Coltan now, and just mining like crazy. All these interests like that. And little mercenary armies sponsored by this state and that state or whatever have it. So there's huge problems. And there's a group that splintered off. Anyway, right now there's a threat. Maybe they are fighting. Maybe it's hot. I haven't really paid attention that close right now. I'm traveling. Well, that doesn't make an excuse. I can do a thing. But right now, Rwanda is about to have war with the DRC and the funny thing is, all these factions, they're all the same people. It's just that they're manipulated by other people who have these interests to take the natural resources, and everything is a land grab. You look at it, everything is a land grab. You think it's some ideology, you think it's some religious thing. In the final phase, somebody has grabbed that land for the minerals that's under the land. I don't want to go back to the States. But it's a land grab, okay? Anyway, so I'm looking at stuff. This is amazing. You can spend your time, and you have to, because I'm not there. But let me put it this way. Black people, melanated people, is always the tip of the spear. Always the tip, right? So that's all I'm saying. It's always the tip. Anything that happens, any place in the world, always black, melanated people are always the tip of the spear. And then, but the funny thing is, nobody wants to. You'll follow them as long as you're not shooting at. They're not shooting. People are not shooting at you. It's like the tip of the spear is what the reality is. But a lot of people use black people as the shield that thing that gets boom, 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 boomed. You see. Anyway, so right now, what's amazing, you call the Sahel states, where you got Burkina Faso, land of the upright people. You have Niger and Mali. I like the guy in Mali, Gota, Colonel Gota. He's the one that wear the green beret. So I'm like, I like him, right? I know everybody follows, or they props to Captain Ibrahim Traore. Big props, you know what I mean? In fact, in the scheme of things, I know he's Captain to them, but for me, as a person in the diaspora, like, he's my commander-in-chief. I know, in a weird, whatever sense, since Donald Trump is now the commander-in-chief, and because I'm a veteran, in a weird sort of way, Donald Trump is supposed to be my commander-in-chief. I'm just giving you facts. Don't worry about all no facts. I'm giving you whatever stuff. But in my battle, since I'm melanated, and we've been at war. This is our uniform, as Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. would say. Our uniform is our melanation. We are the melanation. So we can't take our uniform off and become something else or whatever. No, they can tell. That's what I'm sorry. I'm going on. Here's the funniest thing to me. It's so funny. Nelson Mandela, he was called, they call him the Scarlet Pimpernel. If you know the story about the Scarlet Pimpernel, he could change disguises and do this and do that. Nelson Mandela could be no Scarlet Pimpernel. The boy is 6 whatever feet. Most of the people in Africa, the mean thing is like, 5'5". So if somebody comes to your area, you're over 6 feet tall, what kind of pimpernel you gonna be? Anyway, I want to get into that stuff. I'm not down in Nelson Mandela. He did what he had to do at the time that it was done. As it turned out, it wasn't. And his group, it wasn't. They sort of just prolong the battle because it was an armistice. In fact, right now it's interesting. I just heard that because the EFF for years have been saying we want the land back without compensation, and of course that pushed the ANC a certain way, another party, and of course the for lack of a term, the white Africans, or they came to Africa and whatever. They formed the party, the DA, Democratic Alliance, right? Well, they, in this last election, they got themselves into some sort of coalition government. Well, because, so what's happening now is the ANC, or whatever, they're calling for reparations, land, whatever, grabbing the land back, without compensation to these people who came and stole the land in the first place. So that's a thing that's going to, you'll hear about that soon enough. That's going to be hilarious. Because even in South Africa, even going to I call it the orangutan. There's a little town that is all white and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. But it's going to be, it's hilarious to me. I'm sorry. I laugh. I think that things are absurd. So everything that happens, I joke about it, I laugh about it, but I am a serious person. Anyway, so that's happening in South Africa right now. So this is going to be, when I'm traveling now, I won't be back to South Africa till July or whatever. And that's the other thing. People, they check the internet or they read something, or they listen to some pundit or whatever it is. You got to be on the ground. The DRC right now, the cats, young cats, those cats I talk about that age, right? Man, they're burning the U.S. Embassy, the French Embassy, I think another whatever, all these embassies, they're burning them down. They're out. And you say, well, they're rioting. Yeah, they're rioting. They're looting. They're taking stuff. That's what, young people. Like I said, before you're that age, before your brain closes up at 25, all them younger than that. And plus, I'm sorry, Africa for the most part, the mean age. It used to be like under 30. It's under 30. I think it's like the mean age, like about 17. It's under 30 for sure. So, and remember, at that age, you don't have a sense of mortality. That's what happened with the gangs. Well, I'm going to get into that part. But the point is, so hey, something's wrong, you want to get it. I sort of have to tell you that what I do in South Africa too, I deal with the younger people, so I hear what they're doing, and I deal with the seniors, I do something else with them. community, right? But my point is, you can say what you want. The people can give all their analysis, the Marxian thing, and the analysis, what do you call that, the academic papers analysis like that. Well, yeah, you wrote a paper, and now you're going to recite the paper in something, or you're going to talk to the media, and the media is going to give you better. Well, that's what you do. But meanwhile, all over Africa, and with the Sahel situation, everybody's joining. Well, the Africans are slowly, the countries, like there's the guy that just came in Botswana. What's his name? I got it right there. Aduma Boko. He just came in for Botswana, right? So saying that he's with the Sahel. In fact, Ramaphosa said he with the Sahel. Everybody's with the Sahel, right? And of course, a part of that is the whole thing about BRICS. Brazil, India, China, Russia, and then a couple of years after, like South Africa. Those are the main five. And then people start piling on, and Nigeria just joined in. Indonesia, man, and BRICS is basically financial, whatever. It's not really military, not supposed to be, but they're really financial. And I forgot to tell you, Cuba. I knew that was going to happen because when Russia came, I said they're going to, So this is fantastic. So you could have your little reacting to what's happening in the state, reacting to the Donald and his crew. But my focus is I won't say working, but dealing with bathing in the glory that is Africa uniting. Now here's an interesting thing. As part of this unification, if the African Union gives a visa-free passport to all of the diaspora, which would include, America, the Caribbean, Brazil, whatever, or South America, wherever melanated people are, right? To me, that's better than becoming a citizen because like right now, there's this Ghana accepting citizenship, Chad, whoever's accepting citizenship. But with that, the U.S. and all these other forces can slip in melanated, well, let's call them Afropeans or Negropeans, slipping in there, and they can do some dirty work, whatever. But look, the group, the Sahel group, they are smart, they are steady, and they're soldiers. They ain't politicians. Whoa, everything. The stars, like the planets supposed to be aligning. Certain planets supposed to be aligning this month, when February comes in. Well, it's aligning. And look, the fight in the States, you get the reparation. That means you get the money that if you get, we have the free visa, you can go and invest this out in Africa. You don't have to deal with it. Well, you can deal with investing. You invest in states, and if you're, all I'm trying to say is everything is rife for what I call the ultimate liberation. Welcome to the battle. There's a battle, but the war will be won. Been going for a long time.